Hey guys! Behind me is a 2006 Suzuki M109 1800 cc's of madness. If you want to know how to drop the engine out of an M109, stay tuned. This is the video for you. This particular bike has second gear that's giving him a problem. It has to be fixed. And we're gonna do this step by step per the Suzuki manual. It's an extremely large job. I don't recommend this to anybody that has not got the tools and the time to do this or the space. It is an extremely big job. Without further ado, M109. Here we go. Clean the engine, and then we're gonna drain the oil, drain the coolant. If you've done an oil change on a thing, then good, you know how to drain the oil on the bike. If not, you probably shouldn't be dropping the engine. To drain the coolant, there is a coolant line under the engine on the left-hand side. It may be a little hard for you guys to see, but I guarantee you that it is this hose right here. Hose clampy. But we'll get it. There it goes. Wasn't even on very tight. And eventually, it'll come off. Oh my goodness! There it goes. That is some glycol-based coolant right there. Alright, next step on this is to, after draining the coolant and draining the oil, is to remove the tank and get the side covers off the bike. Now, if your bike is bone stock, you're also going to be removing the frame head cover, which is this guy right up in here on the top of each one, and the radiator covers next. Disconnect the battery. Next, you're going to be removing the air cleaner chamber, this entire box, and all of its stuffs. Lower clamp down on the intake and the clamp up on the box itself here. Those scrawny little hookers off. There we go, there's one. There's two. It helps to have very strong fingers during such a test. I need food! Loosen up the clamps on the throttle bodies and twisty. The screws are way up in there, so you gotta reach. Next up, we're going to be removing the exhaust pipes. So at this point, you're going to have, basically, you're going to be seeing that the engine's about ready to come out. You still do need to get a couple things removed, and one of those things is the throttle body. So let's get those out next. Let's get these throttle cables off. Removed. And now, pull those up and out of the way for the most part. Matter of fact, let's get them all the way out of the way because we're going to reroute them later. We're going to remove all of the cables and wires that are up in that little general area, and then we're going to loosen up our clamps here and give our throttle bodies a tug, and they should come right out. And obviously, you're going to have one of these on each cylinder. And after lunch, we built up some gorilla strength and we're able to twist this enough to get it to pop out. So get this throttle body out of here. Throttle body's out. You're going to be removing your cover for your master cylinder, remove the master cylinder and the entire right foot peg. remove that brake line out of there. It's got a little bracket on the back to hold the brake line in place. May have to bend it out of the way a little bit to get it to move. Maybe not. Should be able to just pop it right out. There we go. Right on. Now you can pretty much move the entire brake line out of the way. And then you're gonna be removing the starter lead here. After you've disconnected the starter lead, you are going to remove this line from the oil cooler. There we go. Get it a twist a little bit. There we go. Sometimes you just need to crack it a little. Let it dump into there. And while you're in here and you haven't already started to, you're going to want to disconnect the horn coupler, the wiring going to the horn, and the wiring going for the fan. After you've gotten those disconnected, most bikes you're going to have your side plate here. You're going to want to remove and expose all of this stuff here. This bike came in without it, so I don't need to do anything to remove it. So good there. Don't want anything grabbing onto that thing and tuggity tug tugs. That's all gonna stay on the motor. Okay. The manual calls for you to pull off the brake line itself. We'll just tuck it under there. We've got a catch basin here. And we'll be bleeding the clutch all the way. Then you're going to want to remove the shifter linkage. At this point, you're going to pretty much want to get the bike down on the ground and get it stable on the ground.
Nice DSLR camera and everything, but it's like you don't really.
Throw tires on everything.
Stories of the American soldiers really liking the.
Sweet. She's not going nowhere now, man. So once you got this thing supported, the next step is to remove the left foot peg and the gear change levers. After that, you're going to remove the gear position coupler, gear position sensor coupler, and then you're going to come around to the right side of the bike. And then after we get on the right side of the bike, we're going to remove the chassis ground, the main ground of the engine. And now we're getting into the fun part. We're going to actually start getting ready to remove this engine. We're going to roll our stand under there, lift under there, and just get it up under the engine. Just a little support on the engine, and we're going to remove this bolt next on the right side lower chassis and lower engine mount bolt. We're going to take that 14mm out. All right, nuts all the way off. Next, you're going to remove these two lower frame bolts. If your bike has it, you're going to remove any caps that are covering any of these, because you're going to get ready to remove this rear bracket. But we did get this bolt out, so it's all good. And there's our nut, and we got one more to go. And after you've gotten that one up and off, you're going to get this guy next. And then you're ready to take this cross tube out. And here we go. There we go. So now you're almost there. Okay, next we're going to be removing this upper bracket on the rear of the engine. Make sure that your engine's supported, like we've been talking about. Ours is, but we're going to definitely know whether or not we are completely supported once we remove these two bolts. You've only got two bolts to remove. It's your main engine mount bolts. You've got an upper and a lower, and as long as everything is clear and everything's kind of tucked and pulled out of the way, like this guy, we're going to get these guys completely out of our game plan here. We don't need any obstructions in what we're doing. Tuck everything out of the way. Get these LED wires up and out of the way. I don't need any brake lines in the way. We're going to actually have to push this thing kind of forward, and then we're going to pull it out. It may not need to go too far, but we're going to need to maneuver it a little bit, and you just want to make sure that it's on the stand and on the lift really, really sturdy. Trusty. We should have pretty much a free engine here. So after some decisiveness, I've decided to go ahead and just remove the final drive assembly for the shaft. It's really simple. You're just going to remove the 4 bolts and give it a couple tugs and it'll pull right out and it'll come right off the splines on the shaft. And it'll be totally clear, and you can probably get this engine out a lot easier than you were trying to earlier, like I was struggling with. So I may have to reposition it on the lift a little bit because it seems like it might be kicked forward a little too much, and it's making it tough to get clearance around the front of the head here and around the bottom. So if I kick it kind of back a little bit, I might be able to get it to squeeze out a little easier. There we go. I'm going to kick it back. Oh, talking to yourself again?
Yeah, talking to you.
Oh! I ain't gonna shut up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, almost an engine frame. Hanging up on one little bracket there. Scooch it forward here. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a job for 1 to 2 very strong men to lift, so don't drop it. Well, boys and girls, there you have it. We just took the entire engine out per the Suzuki manual for an M109, 1800 cc's of badass. And the next installment of this will be a full engine rebuild. So stick around, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something out of this thing. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you another time. Have a great day. Thanks.